All right, and we are back. Welcome back to BS with Brian Simpson. Hey, listen. First of all, a shout out to Link IB, aka the Ancient One, and his podcast. I think it's called The Wandering One. He shouted me out from GamesCon. He's a fan of the pod, and he heard my comments, I'm guessing, about Path of Exile, since he's at GamesCon. So, yeah, shout out to him. Go check out his podcast, The Wandering One. Excellent coverage of GamesCon. I listened to a good episode. My loins are ready for Path of Exile too. Diablo has improved steadily, especially these last two seasons, Diablo 4, but Path of Exile 2, we already know what it is. If you know, you know. You know it's about to be, okay. So, outside of that, nothing really major happening for me. I had the COVID a couple weeks ago. I was feeling better. I was testing negative. Then I started doing too much. That's the story as old as time. I started doing too much. I had to set it down again. I didn't have COVID again, but I wasn't fully recovered. For whatever reason, man, I've had COVID a few other times, but this time was the most, persistent. It wasn't as devastating as the first few times I had it, but it was definitely just wouldn't go away. It was kind of crazy, the amount of damage it did. You know what I mean? It was like whatever that part after a cold. You know how when you finally hit that end where now shit starts all coming out, it's just, that's all you're doing is just cleaning out the trash out your body. It's like that shit lasted for a week and a half. I'm still not fully back. You know what I mean? And I don't have COVID anymore. I'm not testing positive for COVID anymore. But all the phlegm and all the soreness and all that shit's still around, the fogginess. It's weird. So yeah, this new shit out here, this new strain ain't no motherfucking joke. And that's me keeping up with my vitamin D and my zinc, and just regularly I take vitamin D and zinc every single day because I don't do dairy. So I got to take the vitamin D supplement. I take the zinc. You know what I mean? I got my damn elderberry, all that shit. And it still fucked me up. I should probably work out more. All right. Let's get to the emails. We like to knock those out the way off top so we don't forget. This is from Z Money. Okay, hey Z Money. Hey Brian, I wanted to write into the pod to hear your thoughts about the level of wealth and poverty you've experienced throughout your life. When I listen more and more about you, I think about myself. I've slept in parks before, but I've also drove around in Bentleys. You being homeless to now on your way to being a wealthy man, shit, I would say you're somewhere in the top 50 in the comedy game, top 10. So the cheese is on the way if it hasn't hit already. No, thank you for the compliment. Top 50 is fine. I wanted you to pontificate on that life and experience. Most people stay near slightly above or slightly below the economic standing as their birth. How has the money changed you? How has your relationships changed? Is life easier? Are you glad it happened the way it did? Would Billionaire be better if they had the same path to money as you? Anyway, the pod is gas. I'm playing the pod for random Japanese girls in Tokyo. They're rocking with you out here, bruh. P.S. to any South African nigga hating, eat a dick, nigga. Z Money. My man, may be the best email the podcast has ever received. I'm not sure. It had it all. Suspense, romance. Listen. I guess as to your first question, I've spanned the gamut. I've been homeless several times. My mom lived in a homeless shelter with me when I was a kid. So my family is, because how your parents get older, they start revealing things. I found out my mom was also a foster kid. Some of y'all don't know my story, my backstory. I've told it on several podcasts, but I was a foster kid. Military, bounced around, home, military, to broke comedian, the homeless comedian in LA, to relatively successful comedian. And so yeah, I've spanned the gamut. And something I'll say, and this is not, I didn't invent this sentiment, but money does not change you. Money reveals you. It enhances what's there already. I am no different with money. I'm a little, some people may think that I've gotten snobbier, but I've always been snobby. I just had to tolerate. But it's certain things I'm just weird about. I'm fickle about. I would say money's changed some of my experiences, or it's changed some of my expectations. Because it's like because I've been poor for so long, when I'm spending money on something, I'm expecting more. So when you know what I'm saying? It's like if I'm spending money on a luxury apartment, you know what I mean? I need that AC fixed. I need that shit fixed today, because I was suffering with no AC in my damn efficiency. You know what I mean? And so now with these luxury apartments, why the AC don't work? Why are there bugs? I'm not dealing with that. Because what's the extra money for? If I gotta feel poor, that don't make sense to me. So stuff like that. What was your other question? How has the money changed you? How has your relationships changed? Well, that's the other thing. Money doesn't change you, but it does change how people. It changes the people around you. Which kind of forces you to change how you interact, because you have to sort of be guarded, a little more guarded. And people and other people with money, they'll tell you like, sometimes you hear about people with money and they come off as very stingy and all that. But the truth is, man, it's the God honest truth. If you give somebody money, right, they will literally never stop seeing you as a source of money. You understand what I'm saying? Just like everybody has in the back of their head, if they see somebody bleeding or dying, 911. I can always call 911. Right? It's in there. If you start giving people money all the time, they will start factoring in the money they could get from you as part of their plan. I'll do X, Y, and Z, and the shit fall through, I'll call Brian, and he'll give me X, Y, Z. So you have to be very careful about creating those habits, right? Because the truth is, it's like I'm not rich. I'm definitely doing way better than I've ever been. But let's just say, for the sake of example, you were making, $40,000 a year, right? Which is poverty in some places in America. And then all of a sudden you making $80,000 a year, but then you start taking care of 5 family members. Well, now your situation is no different. Now you're still living like you was making what you was making before, because you have to give all your money away. And so, it started to kind of be like that a little bit for me, when I was like, because I'm a very, generous. I try to be thoughtful, and there's a guilt that comes along with, quote unquote, making it when you started with nothing. And to assuage that guilt, you think you're going to spread the love. And everybody falls into that trap. It's mostly athletes. They come from the hood. They get a multi-million-dollar contract, and they want to spread the love, because you don't want to make it on your own. You want to bring people with you. But the thing is, you can't bring everybody with you. In fact, you can't bring nobody with you. All you can really do is facilitate. The smart thing to do is you can give people invest in a business, with a business plan, or give them the opportunity to make their own money. But you definitely can't just be giving people shit. I'm telling you some good shit. As hard as it may be to say no, sometimes you have to do that, because otherwise, I'm telling you, they'll never stop. They'll literally never, ever, ever stop asking you for money. You know what I mean? And so you got to be comfortable with that. So the question you have to answer is, who am I comfortable giving money forever? You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's my mama. My mama is the only person who I will take care of. Everybody else, I don't know what to say to you. I throw you some bread every now and then, if I have a great situation or something like that. But like, you can't do that. It's just that simple. What else? Is life easier? No. Honestly, well, you know what it is. It's easier in some ways. Remember that song Biggie said, "More money, more problems." Well, yeah, it's like there are problems that you aren't aware of until you have money. There's additional problems, right? So the only problems that money solves is money problems. Right? If your problem is that you don't have enough money and then you get some money, you've solved that problem. But now there's other problems, that come along with that in terms of where to put your money, how to keep your money. I think I just heard Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, say that he told CeeDee Lamb, his star wide receiver, he told him, you don't have to be smart to make money. You can be a whole bunch of other shit to make money. You can be talented. You can be gullible. You can be a slut. You can be whatever. You don't have to be talented. You don't have to be smart to make money, but you do got to be smart to keep your money. Because that's the thing. It's like the system is designed for those past a certain threshold of money to never go broke, right? And that club is exclusive, and the all the space between being dirt poor and rich enough to never go broke, all that space is designed to take money from your dumb ass. The system is designed to make sure that people that have always had money always have money. And it's designed to make sure that motherfuckers with new money don't hold on to it for very long. You know what I mean? There's literally there's a new money grift. There's a whole new money industry out there designed for people that don't know better. That's where you get all of these, these loud luxury brands that, that's for people that they never had shit for them to get money, and they want everybody to know they got money, But, a lot of times, the very, very, very wealthy, they don't move like you think they move. Elon Musk don't own a house. You understand what I'm saying? There's no houses in Elon Musk's name. Why is that? You got to ask that nigga. Ask his financial people. Right? But there's a reason. It benefits him somehow. Sometimes the better move is to not buy a house because, when you factor in the whole cost of it over X amount of years, you realize that by renting and then taking the difference and investing, you earn a higher percentage, so that you end up making money rather than losing money, right? But that's a whole different way of thinking. That's the hardest part, is to switch your mindset from survival and showing out to long-term sustenance and wealth building and growth. It's a hard thing to think about, all the margins and the percentages and all of that, but there's a reason. There's an old saying, a fool and his money will soon part. Okay. Are you glad it happened the way it did? No, I wish it would have been easier. I'm not a fan of romanticizing the struggle. I do think that it's necessary to go through some things to bring out your character. But, I'm not glad that I went through all the shit. I wish it had been a little easier, honestly. Would billionaires be better if they had the same path to money as you? I'm not sure exactly what that question means, but I'm going to answer what I think you asking. Yeah, yes, everything is that way. That's just human nature. People care more. You and I can be in the same destination, right? But people are more concerned with how we got there, right? What you overcame on the way to the thing is a better story. It's more interesting, But you can still achieve without overcoming nothing. That's why rich kids have such a hard time. It's because they exist in that middle space between, like they worked hard, and so they feel like they earned what they have, and despite their advantages, but they don't realize that like your advantages are something they literally cannot comprehend, is that their advantages are what allows them to believe that their hard work is worth it. In fact, it's what makes their hard work. Like, you know, the sort of people that tell you that all you got to do is work hard, and people that don't want to work hard and work hard, those people don't understand that everybody doesn't receive the same benefits from their hard work. That's why some people are they're tired. They're tired of working hard because they bust their ass and got nothing back. And they bust their ass and got nothing back. And if you grow up in a world where you bust your ass and get something back every time, it's easy for you to turn around and go, all you got to do is work hard. You know what I mean? No, the truth is we live in a world where sometimes you work hard and you get fucked. Right? Sometimes you're born with enough shit where other people's hard work is what you benefit from. Now, that's the sweet spot. That's the American dream. Is to have several motherfuckers that think working hard matters, working hard for you. And you take just enough where they still think it matter. That's the whole point of the American dream. That's the real American dream. So yeah, I think Billionaires would be better. I mean, not that they're necessarily worse. You know, I mean, it's hard to study them psychologically. I would love to see somebody do like a whole deep dive, deep in-depth thing on Billionaires and what that means psychologically and how it changes people and but there a lot of them are very private, very secretive. They don't want to talk about their wealth. A lot of people don't even know who the fuck they are. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know who most of the richest men in the world are. You know? And they want it that way. You don't know how much money they have. Nobody knows how much money the Rothschilds have, for real. You know how much public money they have in the countries, because of their investments in the countries where that sort of thing has to be public. But they have way more money than that. No one really knows how much money the Saudis have, the Saudi family, the royal family, right? Because they're not going to tell you. All you can do is estimate, So, who knows? Anyway, Potter's guest. Well, thanks, Z-Money. I appreciate it. That was actually a really good email. Produced a lot of content. All right. Next, we got, hey, Brian. This is in response to an email I sent that you read on episode 113. Episode 113, timestamp 447. Hey, Brian, you mentioned your service in the Marines from time to time. Did you complete your enlistment and decided it's not for you? Yes. I, too, served, but in the Navy 14 years and deployed 3 times out to sea and 1 year in Afghan. I spent a short stint in the Marines before the Navy, but ended up getting separated during basic because I fractured my knee during training. I enjoyed my time in the service, and I think it's a great way to get started in life for young adults if school isn't something they are not into. One thing I forgot to ask was, what was your MOS? Also, you wanted to know how I fractured my knee in the short time I was in the Corps before my 14-year run in the Navy. It was during basic, and they were rushing everyone out of the showers. I slipped and landed on my knee on the corner of a Foot Locker that, for whatever reason, was in the hallway out of the showers. Those fucking shower shoes might as well be rollerblades. It popped my knee out of place, and the DI popped it back in. I got separated at basic and then paid for physical therapy on my own. Navy recruiter was cool about it and let me apply. I passed everything at MEPS a second time and on to Navy basic. Thanks for reading my email. Respect, Alex Beaverpuss, hugger South African. Hell yeah, and then you sent some sort of image. Hey, I like this. Okay. I can't, I'll send it to the editor so we can pop the Beaverpuss up on the screen. That might get us demonetized. Who cares? Okay. My MOS was, I was a 5963 Tactical Air Operations Module repairman. Again, the Tactical Air Operations Module does not exist anymore, at least not in the iteration that it used to. I think when I was in, it was a big ass van, like in the 20-foot shelter. And as I was getting out, they were trying to shrink it down to be able to fit on the back of a Humvee. and then right after I got out, it started to, as I was getting out, it started to be like just a just a laptop. So I'm guessing that it's probably just a program somewhere. Now I don't even know what the fuck they do. But I'm positive that MOS does not exist in the way that it did when I was in. But yeah, I was a smart guy. I was one of the smart guys. Yeah, but that's cold-blooded. To pop your knee on them shower shoes, yeah. I mean, what was that damn Foot Locker doing there? Nobody got in trouble? That's wild. But the Marine Corps wouldn't let you re-back up because they fucked your knee up, but the Navy did. That's wild, too. Especially to be on them ships. I don't know what you did in the Navy, but it's no fucking room to maneuver, you know? It is wild. I was just watching something yesterday, and it's interesting how people don't understand how OP the U.S. military is, or just the United States just as a country. This, because people talk like this fantasy, like, oh, Russia, oh, China. It's like, hey, guys, none of them countries is fucking with us. Nobody's fucking with us. I was watching a thing yesterday where it was like the whole rest of the world combined could come against the U.S. and they would still have a hard time. It would still be hard. Like, to invade the United States is impossible. It's just not possible for you to win that. It's too just geographically, because that Manifest Destiny shit was very evil and cruel, but it made us OP. We're not surrounded by any enemies. From coast to coast, you would have to, the things you would have to overcome to invade the United States are, it's just nobody even comes close. We spend more money on our military than the next 12 countries combined or something crazy like that. Our military budget is almost $1 trillion. People talk crazy. That's just a boogeyman people say to scare you. I mean, look at Russia. Russia's the next to China is the next threat. They're having a hard time with Ukraine. And they right beside them. You know what I mean? They share miles and miles and miles of border with Ukraine. For them to fight a war logistically across the ocean against us, because I put it like this, we would have smoked Ukraine by now. That shit would have been over already. Remember, it ain't even close. It's not close. It's not possible. I'm go so far as to say that. It's not possible. Militarily, for someone else to fight a land war in the United States is not possible for someone to invade our country. You know what I mean? It's just nobody, right now, nobody's capable is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying it's forever impossible, like nobody will ever be, but just as of now, it's just, we put too much of that. We put too much of our money in that. They couldn't starve us out. We have enough continuous fertile farmland on the Mississippi Basin to feed our whole population 4 times over. They couldn't block us out of our energy. 90% of our energy comes from within our borders, or at least on the North American continent. They couldn't blockade us. They couldn't. What you want to do, the nuke thing? We got nukes all over the world. We got nuclear submarines out all over the place. We got nukes in the air. We can launch. We got ICBMs on the ground. Nukes on them. So nobody wants to do the nuke thing. You want to do the troop thing? Come on, you really don't want to do that. And let's just say, even if you wiped out our whole military, okay, our civilian population. Listen, the 47% of all the guns on the planet belong to Americans. America has all the guns. Our civilian population is super duper well armed. 10% of our population is either in the military or a veteran. So even if you was to somehow overcome, all of the military obstacles in your way of invading the United States, you would still have to fuck with people that ain't finna be ruled and governed over, dog. Now, and I say all that to say, the only thing that's gonna fuck with us is us. The only thing that's gonna destroy the United States is ourselves, and we're already doing it. We're doing it ourselves. And that's, the rest of the world is just waiting for us to fucking collapse. You know, we refuse to do anything about our inherent like racism problem, our economic disparities, and it's going to slowly just eat us up. It's going to eat us alive. We allow greed to let big companies poison our kids. We're teaching bullshit in schools in the interest of maintaining power, so we're getting dumber. You know, we're just getting dumber and dumber and dumber, and eventually it's gonna lead to our downfall. Every great empire kind of collapsed from within, for real, and we're not learning any of those lessons. You know, so I don't know what made me go on that whole rant, but again, and it happens with a whimper. You know, we're gonna go out with a whimper. This election is a perfect example. You know, we're choosing between a person that nobody wants and a person that nobody picks. You know, it went from two old people to like one old person and somebody that nobody chose. You know, because if you listen to podcasts, you know, I don't really harp on my political views, but it's clear that I'm a liberal in a lot of ways. But the blue, no matter who, I can't rock with that. So you're gonna lose my vote. This might be the first time that I actively don't vote. That I don't vote on purpose. I missed an election before, for other reasons. But this might be the first time that I choose to not vote, just out of protest. I'm over the blue, no matter who. That don't make no sense to me. It should definitely be a very specific who. Right? Instead of wait till the last minute and, well, you vote for no matter who we pick, you should vote. I can't do that. I'm over that. You know what I mean? Don't forget, hey, listen, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you want email, you want advice from the advice champ, email me at BSwithBrianSimpson@gmail.com. Okay, and also don't forget, I'm on tour. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be in Madison, Wisconsin, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Go get them tickets at BrianSimpsonComedy.com. We not playing no games. BrianSimpsonComedy.com. We playing 0 games. And let's do one more quick little article before we get the fuck up out of here. Where's this? Expert gives worried fan an update after Ludacris drank water from an unfiltered glacier in Alaska. Okay, yeah, see, this, I don't know if y'all saw this. Rapper Ludacris, this went viral. He put a water bottle in the glacial water and drank right from it. Yeah, my nigga, that's not smart. I mean, that's not the worst water to drink out of, but guys, come on now. We got to know better than this by now. We know about amoebas and microbes and all of this, and you know, come on, there is no safe water nowhere. You know what I mean? It's like you got to filter all that shit or boil that shit. While keeping up with the daily shenanigans of rapper and actor Ludacris isn't usually my top priority, I will admit that lately the 46-year-old has been posting some pretty entertaining content. Recently, the artist sparked concern among fans after he shared a video of himself drinking water from a glacier in Alaska. While the water was definitely giving fresh, some netizens were worried that there might be something nasty lurking in the unfiltered water. Okay. Immediately, comments began rolling in. However, all my fellow Ludacris fans out there's no reason to fret. Our favorite guy is not going to drop dead anytime soon. According to glaciologist Martin Truffer, Ludacris is totally fine. It's sort of understandable that somebody would be concerned about just drinking untreated water, but if you drink water from a melt stream on a glacier, that's about the cleanest water you'll ever get. Oh, this wasn't off like the edge of the glacier. Truffer also noted that while it's not always safe to drink water from a stream in the wild, the specific water that Ludacris drank hadn't had any exposure to biological activity. There's just really no concern on these glacial streams about safety. I've done this many, many times myself without ever having any issues. As previously mentioned, Alaska has the nation's greatest concentration of glaciers, approximately 100,000, cover nearly 30,000 square miles. Ludacris has a very big social media presence. Okay. All right, well, I guess all of us was fucking wrong for panicking. I suppose that Ludacris is probably out there with like some experts that's telling him, yeah, you can drink that, you can't drink that, you know. But still, it's not a good idea for you to be out there in the wilderness just drinking from streams just because you see it, because you're near Glacier or whatever. That shit's gone, nigga. Them things is over. You know what I mean? You fuck around and have a nuclear liver out here drinking out of some streams. Florida teacher used legs to put 3-year-old in a headlock during story time. Okay, so there's a picture here of this woman, and she's holding the 3-year-old still with her legs. Yeah, I mean, leg lock is kind of an extreme. I think that's a misleading way of describing what we're seeing here. This isn't a leg lock like you thinking, like you're imagining. She's got her leg like the kid is laying on the floor, and her legs are on both sides of the kid's head, and she's sort of like pinning him there. Like you kind of like, I don't know how you would describe it. Like if you would catch it, like if you were gonna grab a ball to throw it with just your legs, the way you would grab a ball, that's what she's doing, is it? She got arrested. I don't know, man. Because look, while at first glance, I'm not trying to downplay this picture. This ain't a good look. But at the same time, I mean, some of y'all kids is wild. A lot of y'all parents, you don't discipline your kids whatsoever, and then you send them out there in the public school and expect everybody to just deal with them. You know what I mean? You let them throw temper tantrums. You let them run through the store and throw shit and rip shit off the shelves and call you a bitch. And, and you think everybody supposed to deal with that. So, teachers are, a lot of teachers are on the receiving end of a lot of fucking abuse from your kids now. And a lot of those kids are on the end of abuse from your kids, and the teacher's hands are tied. You know what I mean? Now, is this appropriate response? I don't think so. Just remove the fucking kid from the class. Get the fuck out. But I don't think teachers should just have to deal with your fucking children. I would send this motherfucker home. Well, I can't take her off work. Well, bitch, you need to do something, because we ain't dealing with this. Like some of y'all, again, you refuse to discipline your children, and then you want to throw a temper tantrum when they face consequences from the world. This teacher's restraining your kid with her feet, which is wild, but I guarantee you, hey, in 10 years, it's going to be a police officer with a knee on his neck. It's just that simple. Some of you motherfuckers think that being a good parent is just defending everything your children do. Now, are there pieces of shit teachers out there? Of course there are. I've had plenty of fucking shitty teachers. Is it ever appropriate for your teacher to put their hands on your children? That's debatable. In this situation, no, this is not appropriate. You remove this kid from the class or something else. But to do story time while honestly, wait a minute. Now that I'm looking at this picture, because the teacher says, even with this photo, the teacher says she didn't restrain the kid. And I can see that from this picture. I can see, like, you can interpret this picture a multitude of ways. And if before you saw this picture, you were told that that's what happened, that's what you would see, that this kid is being restrained. But at the same time, this kid could easily just be laying in the teacher's guy. I don't know. This isn't appropriate either way, right? Whatever. It's not appropriate either way. Should the teacher be arrested? No, that's bullshit. She's not abusing this child or harming this child in some way. This is just not appropriate or professional. But I don't know about arresting a 50-year-old child. But I do like that. I like this new era of, like, it's not just the teacher's word is gospel, because that's how a lot of abuse got hidden and shit. But this is a little much. This is a little much. I think this is not a good parent, to be honest with you. To me, this reflects more on the parent than the teacher. That's just me, but maybe I'm a piece of shit. Let's do one more. Oh, look, boom. While let's end the episode on this. Because we were talking about money earlier. I'm a massive savings nerd. Here are the stupidest money mistakes I see people make. This is from Reddit. The This is from the Reddit, the subreddit, the Coupon Nerd. 1, overpaying for car insurance. The average American saves a whopping $410 a year when they switch auto insurance carriers, sometimes significantly more than that. I saved $1,300 this year. The reason, some carriers offer discount prices to new customers when they switch. Okay. Overpaying when you shop online. Okay. Dealing with debt on your own. If you got $10K in unsecured debt, credit card, blah, 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 you can ask a debt relief company to come in and negotiate for you. Okay. 4, not having a financial advisor. Oh, this is just a fucking ad. You fucking nerd. Pizza Hut is offering a pizza box that folds into a table. About time. About time. Yeah, I think it would be smarter if you could have a pizza box that just turned into several pizza plates. We could just break the box up. I think that people would prefer that over a table. That's just me. Husband admits adding cocaine, MDMA to wife's Coca-Colas in hopes he would marry her daughter. What? An Indiana man admitted to putting a poisonous off-white powdery substance into his wife Coca-Cola so he could kill her and marry her daughter. Okay. Alfred Roof, 71, pleaded guilty to aggravated battery in July for trying to poison his wife. He was sentenced on Monday to 4 years in prison and 5 years of probation, Indiana court records show. That's it? Ruff told officers in January 2022 that he had been spiking his wife's drinks over the last few months with a substance given to him by his wife's daughter. Also, the daughter was in on it. Ruff's wife, who called the Wayne County Sheriff's Department and told them about her husband's actions, gave the responding deputy a pill bottle that contained the unknown powdery substance, the affidavit says. She also gave the deputy a Coca-Cola aluminum can that she drank and cut open. At the bottom of the can was an off-white residue. When deputies interviewed the 69-year-old Roof at the then 69-year-old Roof at the sheriff's office in January 22, he told them that he was sexually involved with his wife's 31-year-old daughter from a previous marriage. Wow, dude. What where are these kind of people at? Because I see stories like this weekly on the internet of daughters fucking with their mothers' boyfriends and mothers fucking with their daughters' boyfriends, and I don't get that. I don't understand that. I don't get what would make you, like, you in competition with your mama for some 70-year-old dick? That's wild to me. You ready to kill your mama over some old dick? That's wild. This motherfucker, if he'd have caught you when you was 35, this nigga would have had this bitch robbing banks and some more shit. Because his young dick must be stupendous. For some 71-year-old dick to have you tweaking out here, ready to kill your mama. I'm sorry, ready to unalive your mama. I hate that this is what we've become. We got to say unalive instead of kill or dead. We can't say kill or dead because the advertisers don't want that. But I can say unalive, and we all know. So you want to unalive your mama over some old dick? Old dick's fine, by the way. Sponsors don't care about that. You can't say dead. You can't talk about certain conflicts happening in the world. Cheerios is like, nah. But please explain to me, if you are a listener and you are or know someone that has slept with or gone after the significant other of a mom or dad. I don't know no dad. See, I don't know men that do this. I've never heard any story of like a man trying to kill his daddy so he can fuck his dad's wife. I'm sure that there's dudes that have messed with their fathers' wives, or fathers. There's definitely fathers that have messed with their sons' girlfriends, but it's never turned into beef between the son and the father. Not that I know of. So if you know of either, if you personally have known this or it's happened to you, please email the podcast at BSwithBrianSimpson@gmail.com, BSwithBrianSimpson@gmail.com. If you want to come see me on tour, please go to BrianSimpsonComedy.com and click on those links, or go to any of my socials at BS Comedian, and click on the link in the bio. Until next time, keep it tight, Beaver Puss.